Hey guys, how you doing? Alright, let's get down to, let's do this thing. Okay. Knight d6 check. King ef7. Knight takes f5, or yeah, knight d6 check. Knight king f. Actually, I'll write it down. 5 check. King f7, and knight takes f5. I don't really see. Let me see. H3 check. Queen H3 check. King G1. Queen G3. There's perpetual. Trying to see if there's a win anywhere here. I really don't see a. If we try rook e3, he'll play knight f3, and then we don't. And then once we check on h3, he'll play knight h2. Yeah, I think it's first we check. Oh, okay. Oh, because this is pinned. Okay. Didn't think about that. Let's see if that's okay. So we first check. Okay, first check comes over. Okay. Rook takes g7. King takes king h8, rook takes f7, check. I want to make sure I. There's a couple ideas. So see, there's rook takes f7. Bishop or king back. Oh, maybe rook f6 is or rook g6 is interesting because that does threaten. No, that doesn't, because he can actually go f6. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, this is the other way to win the queen. The other way doesn't do anything. Trying to see if queen d3 check, f5. Queen d3, f5. still don't understand why didn't he push? Because pushing's actually if you let's see, takes. Okay. Come on. Knight takes e4, queen takes e4, knight takes c5. Let's see. Knight takes c5. We're good to go. We can actually take bishop takes knight, and pawn takes bishop. We just retreat our knight back. You just liquefy down into or solidify down into a winning game. Okay. Bishop. Oh, bishop can't take because of a check along the G. A to H2 diagonal. A2 to G8 diagonal. So we don't have a check there. So he rotates bishop. No. Let's see here. We do have F5, a potential F5 push. So F5 and F5, bishop D3, queen takes D3, bishop takes C4 check, queen takes C4, and we're up a whole piece in that line. Yeah, going with that. queen e8 check. If king d1, bishop e. This is the line here. I got it. It's kind of odd looking. Let's see if it works. First of all, let's throw it into our system. Bishop takes e8. Rook takes e8 check. King d1. Bishop e2 check. King e. King e. Sorry, one for a second there. I had to work it out in my brain. Bishop g4 check. King f1 check. Bishop h3 check. Yeah, it does work. Perfect. Let's do it. Oops, let's see. There we go. Rook takes a5. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes I have to, it's hard to verbalize it while I'm thinking. I'm working on doing that because you need to, if you ever had like a coach, if you get a coach and your coach asks you what you're thinking, you have to be able to verbalize it. So that would be a good, that's why I kind of talk it out. It's not kind of, that's why I talk it out. Okay. Let me see. Rook takes e5. Queen takes e5. Queen takes e. E7. F7. F7 check. Wait a second, is there a better mate? No, queen takes 5 check. Trying to think, because he can actually pigeonhole himself, and let's work it all the way out, because he might be able to get into a it's king h6. That's where he goes to after we do that. The only problem with taking on f7 that I see could he actually potentially bring his queen back to f6? Could he bring his queen back to f6 though? And try to trade queens off? So I know the first move's this. So at this point we have to decide this is the checking point. Now how do we proceed from here? I'm trying to figure out. We're like, I know we're close to checkmating. I have to. We got to proceed very cautiously. Let's see, what am I? Oh no. I'm thinking about trying to get a knight. If we can get our knight to f7 check, that'd be killer, right there. So how can we get our knight there? I'm actually liking the idea of d takes e6. I'm thinking, let me see. Yeah. because that does away with this, keeps up the threats. Everything is taking scope on the king. Yeah, that's power attack. Wow, only 37% pass rate. Well, good job on the D takes. That's actually the win. Let's see here. Do we have an Anastasia's mate set up here? Going with potential knight e7, check, king h8, rook takes. Oh. Well, we work together as a good team, so that's what matters. Team takes h7, check, king takes h7, and rook d. Okay, sorry, rook h1, check, bishop h6, rook takes h6, check, and no, for sure this is the first move, so I want to see the continuation. This one interests me. So here, this is an Anastasia's mate setup because the knight covers these 2 points back here. When the knight covers these 2 points, the bishop's a blockader, so it's like a tall pawn. So then we just slam this here. He takes theirs. These 2 points are still covered. Then we bring the rook over here. The bishop intercepts, and I'm thinking bishop takes is actually right in that line. This isn't right. That's not. You win, but it allows the king to kind of flee, and we don't want to do that. This threatens a mate idea. If he tries like to attack here, we actually have a mate. Checkmate. So he's actually got to do something like knight e6, knight ef6 here. Or is it this? Okay, then queen e4, and now we're sorry, d3, and if e4, we could actually take, because if he ever takes here, it's checkmate. So he can't take because this knight indirectly is pinned to the protection of the king. So king h8. Now we could take check, king g8, and then back to knight. Now we've opened up basically a soft. He's soft now. Bishop takes. Knight takes. A5, and we just come right back. You know what? Just start gobble galore, and if he comes here, of course, snap, bye bye. So he can't do that. He's basically locked down. He'll try there, and then you can do the G pawn up the board. So yeah, nice. That was a good one. There's a tactic here, a cute one. Knight takes G3. If F takes G3, then bishop takes D4. Check. Let's see. How could we actually just plain out take the knight? Could we just plain out take it? I don't see really anything wrong with not taking it. No, I'm just gonna grab it. So wrong grab, is it that? Oh, it's the bishop grab. What's the big D with not the queen grab though? knight d5 is an interesting move. d5. If rook d6, knight takes b6. Check, but I don't know about that. I'm not sure. Oh, knight e4. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, the only reason knight e4 doesn't work, and you see it already, is queen f4 check wins the knight, and also the bishop takes the knight, so that is the same as well. Knight d5 is an interesting move that stops the queen from going. Well, actually, she can't go to f, so good thing we checked that, huh? I'm trying to. Actually, I do like. I do like your knight e4. I do like your knight e4. I think knight e4 actually does win in that line. No, the bishop goes to e4. Drat, because we have to somehow get our queen to c6 if we could. Knight d1. Knight d1 does the trick really nice. Yes, knight d1. It's a retreating move, but it attacks the queen and makes the queen have to run, and we win. Knight d1. That does the trick really nicely. Be on the lookout for everything. It could be a retreating move that wins the game for you. Yeah. Hey, we're a team. We could do it. Just gotta keep attention to detail. Okay, let's see. Rook e7. If king h6, then of course we have queen h8, and we pick up a piece. He really can't retreat after that. So check. He can't go g8 after. So this is the great challenger move right here. e7 check. That's the big attack move, because if he tries to, after rook e7 check, go g8, we made him on g7. Queen g7 is mate. So he has really only one square to go, is up. And then I think we got this. And now we bring our queen in. Let's see, do we have anything else? Let's see here. We actually can play f4, and I believe that is checkmate. There we go. Let's see here. Well, queen takes f5 is pretty much a crushing move because rook takes. Well, maybe he might be able to if we play queen takes f5. He'll first play rook takes d8 check, rook takes d8, and then rook takes e7. So he'll regain the material. So we haven't acquired much in that line. No, kinda, yeah. I was looking. Oh, queen takes, rook takes. Actually, if we played queen takes d1, the problem would be he has knight takes e7 check. That's the problem with taking, and then we'd move, and he could take our queen, and he's good to go on that. So I'm thinking that the idea is basically knight takes rook, like this line here. Knight takes d1. If knight takes e7, queen takes e7, rook takes e7, and then knight takes the queen. You take here, and then you can actually take there, and you're up in exchange. It's a mix of all of our ideas. Excuse me. Okay, so queen a4 check, rook a2, queen d4 check. Boy, this is interesting because the idea was to try to go queen a4 check, rook a2, and then try queen d4 check. But then he can actually bring rook b to b1 to b2. He can actually bring his other rook from b1 to b2. try and do well, there has to be some way. I'm thinking that potentially with this move here, maybe we can play rook a3 at this point. Try to double up an attack on the knight, but I'm not sure. I mean the rook. Oh wait, this does it lead to me? Check. Check. No, so we have to yeah. Check, he comes up here. Yeah. I know it works. Let's work this out. Yeah, rook a2. I know there's a mate here, I just couldn't see it all the way. Yeah, because this loses to that. So he has to come up, he comes up, oh, it's checkmate. That's why I couldn't see a continuation. That's funny. That was checkmate. There we go. We got it. Yeah, that was a tough one there, but we found it as a team. Let's see. We have to put the pressure on the queen because we want to take scope on f2. So the only way to put pressure on the queen is rook h7, and so when the queen goes to either g6 or our queen goes to e6, we can actually go queen takes f. Queen takes f2. Check. King d1. Let's see, how can we let's see, I'm trying to see. Yeah. But we have to be careful. We can't move out of check with our king. If we go king g8, he'll play rook g2. Rook g2, and he'll cover, or he'll just move. So he took the pawn. Okay. Now we have to decide. Yeah. Well, if we take with bishop takes f2, he actually has king e2, and I don't know what to do after that. See, I don't know. I don't see any continuation after king e2. And I think that we actually could potentially pick up a queen here with this move. We check here, come back to queen to e2, queen f3. Maybe, let me see. Oh no, we pick up a rook. Wham. There we go. We pick a rook up. There we go. We're doing good. We're adding slowly the points. But we're not losing, and that's what matters. Yeah, there you go. Simplify is, yeah, great job. Simplifying the positions sometimes will save you a lot of heartache of blunders. Let's see here. Do 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 do. Okay, so king moved. We need to somehow find a infiltration point. If we can get our queen to h5, we would be in a seriously good position for sure. Trying to see if there's a way to do that. Yeah, there's potentially a way to do that. Knight g5, h takes g5, queen g6, queen g6. Queen g6 is an interesting idea, and we'll continue on with that line a little bit, see if it can actually be stopped. Okay, next move I was thinking is rook f6. But we do have queen h5 check, rook h6, queen to e8 check, king h7, bishop g6. But the problem with this is he has not g6, bishop f6. He's got g6 that can stop that. So we might be able to move in though with potential infiltration there. Actually, we could take his rook, couldn't we? Yeah, sorry, back here I kind of miscalculated. We could actually take his rook. I missed the bishop. It takes right back here. After g6, there, a queen, h5 check, and if rook h6, we can play bishop takes h6, and we are up a whole piece. So I'm thinking that this has to be the knockout below here, and then we come in. Yeah, this is the knockout. That's the 1-2 KO punch. And then the final uppercut was, I'll show you. If he tries this here, we go here. If he goes, oh, maybe I was a little too hasty. Let me see. E8 comes up. Bishop G8. That's, I knew there was something. Bishop there, and then mate. The old Anastasia's mate. Gotta love it. The old Anastasia's mate. First, you can actually go a little bit, just in between, move a tiny bit here. King G, Queen E8, F5, and then checkmate. Now we got this mate. Okay. Either way, we got him. Okie dokie. King F3. We have a Arabian mate set up here, so let's implement it. King F8, F8, King F3. If the king goes to F1, it's mate, so he's going to try probably Rook D7 on that one. Oh, no? Oh, that's mate. That's mate in 1. Drat. There's actually a mate in 2. Yeah. This right here, there's a mate. There's actually a mate in 2 here. This is a mate in 2. Oops, mate 2. I saw the Arabian mate. I didn't see this that's a mate in 1. There is a mate in 2. So saw both. Just picked the wrong one. Okay, this is an interesting combination. First of all, queen takes, let's just check this out. Queen takes d5. Queen takes d5. If knight takes d5, bishop takes d2, check, king takes d2. Actually, king wouldn't take, sorry. Bishop takes d2, and then knight takes d5. But I don't know if we're left with the same material both ways, so we don't want to do that. We have to find a better route. We gotta find a better route. Yeah, bishop takes c3 might be more of a excuse me, might be more simple and straight to the point. That, yeah, bishop takes c3. If queen takes c3, then you have queen takes d5. He does have one sitch though. If we play bishop takes c3, he could throw in an in-between move, bishop c6 check, but I don't know if that really does anything to us. I think he has an intermezzo move, in between move. So I'm trying to see, does that actually affect us at all? Yeah. So now I'm wondering if we don't do the queen takes d5. I see bishop takes, bishop c6 check. King's got to move. If we intercept bishop d7, well, bishop d7, he'd take our rook. We can't take our rook. Well, we would, it'd still be equal. So, bishop takes c3, queen isn't going to take, so we already took that out of the category. It may, but if it did take it, they would lose. So, bishop takes c3, bishop c6 check. If we intercepted with bishop d7, bishop takes d7, queen takes d7, and queen takes c3, and there we're at equal material again. But this time we have queens on the board, and our king isn't really that safe, and yikes. I'm kind of liking more queen takes d5. Yeah, I'm liking just getting the queens off the board and just going right into a game where, oh, we are up a whole piece. Okay, so we did win a piece in that line. The other way, I'll show you, there's a couple ways that there's one way that equalizes for him. This one looks like the most simple, but this intermezzo throw-in, yeah, ends up costing us a lot of headache. Oh, he just takes there. Okay. Then after takes, bishop takes, and he's ahead. Okay. But you might actually sometime have somebody that just makes a mistake there, and then you pick up a piece. But you always want to, like Alekhine, I think it was it Manuel Lasker said, if you see a good move, check to see if there's a second one. See if there's a second move, and if the second move isn't as good as your first one, then don't worry about the second one. Go with your first one. But it's a good thing we checked out 3 lines, because there was only one good line out of the 3, and it was a blessing we did that. Okay, let's rise above it. could somehow, if we ever could get that, man, we're so close to mate. But there's a knight guarding f6 and a bishop guard, not f6, d6, and a bishop guarding d6. Our knight's also hanging, so I'm not liking this too much. But we'll find a way. We'll navigate our way through this quagmire of the situation we're in. Ooh, I like this move here. There's mate. Queen takes d7, check. Rook takes d7. Knight c7, check. Rook takes c7. And rook d8, mate. There's a win in the position. Wham. You just have to implement a couple things. Wham. And you got it. You gotta not be afraid to sacrifice a piece. You have to go after yeah. Yeah. More if you truly would. The queen sack, yeah. I liked the one, the opera one was his best. In my opinion, that one was so cool. It got a mate with a bishop and a rook. Sacking the queen for the knight, drawing it away. Gotta love that. I would say for a player who truly loves sacrifices, do the opera game with Morphy. You'll love that one if you're a sacrificial player. Let's see here. We're so close to getting our queen, getting a new queen. So I'm wondering if we don't just no. There's too many pieces attacking d7. I was thinking of playing queen c8, but I don't think there's anything. I don't think we have anything there because he could just take with his f rook. Comes over and takes, and there's not enough to defend. So that's not fun. We do have a check, so could throw in a in between check idea, but I don't know. Let's see. So close. Well, we got to be careful of our king because we have a back rank issue with our king too. So we have to watch the queen going to a1. We just have to be on guard that that's a potential threat against us. Not a yeah. So we just have to be on guard on that. Let's see here. You have to look at everything, and then you can base a plan around that. I'm wondering if we don't have a move with something like knight c5 that attacks the knight c5 attacks the queen. It also allows us to see we can go knight c5 to knight e6 with a check, and that forks the rook on d8. That forks the rook on d8. And knight c5 attacks the queen. And if the queen tried to, let's say, move to c6, it would be lost to our queen. So it has to basically go either, it'd have to go to a, yeah, I think that, I'm thinking c, so knight c5, queen a5 is forced, otherwise he loses the queen. Well, not really. He could go. Well, I guess maybe berserk and play queen takes. I doubt he'll do this, but he could potentially. You always gotta look at queen takes d7. That's a berserk move, but I don't think he would actually do that. I think he's gonna play more queen a5 because that's like crazy, and then knight e6 check. And then we pick up a rook, and then his queen takes our knight. So either way, we're doing good in that line. Yeah, we're picking up pretty good material there. Enough to cause a headache. He no longer has enough defenders or attackers on d7 to really do anything. Yeah, we're doing good as a team. Just gotta always whoa. Do I see what I see? Is there a fork on e2? Huh. And then another fork. Knight e2 check. King e1. Knight takes c3. Then we're forking the rook and the bishop. Wow, that's a major blunder right here. Whoa, a 400. Whoa. Surprisingly, there's only 84% got that right. That should have been 100. That was like right there. Hey, we did it in 32 seconds, so we should have done it in 4 seconds. Then we would have got 100%. No, I'm joking. uh, you gotta always make sure your position is flawless, otherwise you'll regret it in the end. Oh, let's see. Bishop takes e3. Huh. Wait a second. I'm liking. Nope. Well, yeah. I'm actually liking this. Queen h3 check. If king e2, then queen takes d3 is mate. So queen, so it's mate either way. Let's see, is there any flaws to that? No, nothing. So we're gonna play it. Wham! There we go. Yep, there we go. Okay, this one is I gotta remember, I've seen this one before. I'm trying to see if there's a okay, come on. I remember this one because I've seen something similar to this. I'm trying to think. Let me see. G6? No. That can't be right. Queen takes H7. King takes H7. G6. No. Because he'll retreat to H8. He's safe. Hold on. Let me think. Ah, got it. G. No. Is it? It may be G. No. It might be. It might be G6. Now that I think about it. Yeah. I'm thinking G6, H6. Let's take a look at this. Bishop takes H6. I gotta see if this is right. G takes H6, and then Queen takes H6. Check. And if Rook H7, it's Queen takes H7 mate. But is that the line? Is that the proper line? Yeah, that's right. So we are missing something there. We are missing something. Dread. I'm trying to remember because this involves a sacrifice. I've seen a similar puzzle, so I got it now. It is this. I remember it now. It is that. I had to go through my, as they say, Rolodex of patterns and remember what it similarly looked like to me. There we go. Yeah, you do. We do for sure. We did good there. We're close to mate here, so I'm looking at King E3. King E3. F knight E4. Then we have Rook B1 is mate. Oops, forgot to put the mate sign. Sorry. Hold on. It's not a check, it's a mate. So he's gonna probably move his king. Let's see, King E3, King G1. King G1, because if he goes King E1, it ends up becoming, well, I guess it's not mate. Well, yeah, it would be mate, because we just go B1 and it's mate again, so he has to go to G1. Yeah, we have mate both ways. So this works here. First we check here. If he went the other way, it'd been mate because bishop. Well, actually, I don't think that would have been. Would that have been? Nope, that wouldn't have been mate. Well, yeah, not sure if that would have been mate. So how do we want to finish this off? I think we pick up a rook, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if we can checkmate here, so I think we can actually pick a rook up, though. Yeah. So I think we just grab that. Yep, we're good to go. Okay, now that we're at a good level here, we're going to go over a Gadakomsky game. We're going to actually go over a game that Gadakomsky played. It's part of the London system. And one sec, I'll get a drink. It was 2017. It's a more recent Gadakomsky game. Wait, D4. It's more of the Indian game. We went over that there's a couple lines in the London system that could be played. The most common one is D5. We talked about the C5 can be played. There's even a sideline E5, but you really don't. That's normally not played because a player does it usually because you'll just grab it. Then you'll be up a whole pawn. So that this is not played that often. There's the Dutch defense. It depends which way you want to go. You can go Stonewall or just classic. There's also this line C6. Knight C6 is a line, and then if you're in favor of the fianchetto like the English, you can do that. Or the modern line, which is bishop, and you attack from the basically the side, and then at the right moment you fling in a center attack. So there's usually two main ideas, either d5 or knight f6. I mean, yeah, knight f6. These lines, c5 isn't really played as often. E5 isn't played, and if you're not a modern player or an English player, you're not going to play these. So you're going to encounter more likely a d5 is more what they're going to play, or knight f6, because they're not going to want to be as aggressive as like Nakamura and a lot of those modern players, grandmaster players. So that's why Gadakomsky's opponent played knight to f6. It's more of a solid line. The Indian game is more solid in the setup of the London. And bishop f4. This is more. It's kind of a flexible move. A lot of players start off the London system with knight to f3, but there's sometimes a problem with that. I'll show you what potentially could actually arise out of that. Let me see here. Here, if you play there, you could have a sitch with this here. This is kind of the idea of why starting out with knight to c f3. The first move is kind of a little It's solid, but there's always this little trick here you got to be careful with, because our idea of queen to c2 is actually to play b3, because we want, when he takes, we'll have a compact pawn structure. That's what this idea of queen c2 is based on, getting a really nice endgame. But we have to be careful. Move order is always important. So that's why bishop. And so we'll just go down a similar line. Let's try something a little bit different. Knight d2. Now when we play here, if he tries his sneaky idea, the rook's not trapped anymore. Before, the rook was trapped and the queen could have actually came down and won it. We'll go over that line one more time after this, just really fast. Now if he plays here, you have this line, oops, you have this, and now you can get the pawn back if he comes there. And if he thinks about checking, you always can just bring the knight back. And so he gets another pawn, not a big deal for us. We have a humongous lead in development. We can always unwind our position pretty nicely and castle, and then we're ready for the attack for us. But now we're just going to go back to this line here. I forgot to show you the reason this doesn't work. If we take here, he's got this, and see now, rather than the knight being here, the knight's trapping the rook, and so the rook can't actually go to b1 anymore, and you'll lose a piece and basically the game. But there's also another line that Simon Williams, I was watching his tape, that if instead of this move here, let's just go down the C line real quick, and we're just gonna go down this line here. We have to be careful. We'll just throw in, let me see, we'll throw in this move here just as an example. Well, I don't think I can, no, we can't do that. So let's throw in, we'll just throw in h6, because he doesn't want to have our bishop or knight there. So, and now let's do this. Oh, wait a second. No, this isn't the line. I apologize. I'm sorry, guys. I believe it's this here. Hold on. I think it has something to do. I remember the line now. Sorry. It's not. No, is it this one? No, it's not that. It has to be. It's. I gotta remember the line. I think we're right so far. Here, there, queen there. Has something to do with a knight still. Oh, I got it. That's right. We don't have to worry about this move here. Sorry, guys. Yeah, we don't need to worry about where is that H? We'll just delete this. We don't have to worry about that because we play here. That's right. Because because there's no knight. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Because now there's no knight on f6. This guarding point doesn't really do anything. So he can actually come grab it. But now, even if he grabs our rook, we have the ability of playing queen to b5. Now we're attacking there. We're also protecting our knight. And we have a pretty massive attack against this knight with d5. So if he tries taking there, we have d5 and we pick up a piece. We get our piece back and a pawn, and the position's lovely for all of us. I mean, it's great for us. Had to remember, because there's so many different tricks that your opponent may try to throw at you, and if they do it wrong, it'll backfire really in their face badly, and then you can play a sacrificial line if you're a sacrificial player. Those are a couple cool London system attacking lines. Because the London system gets a bad rap of being really boring, and it's not actually boring. It has different setups in it, all different types. So you just have to get to know it, and you can play it almost the rest of your life and have pretty good results with it until you get up to like Super Grandmaster, and of course they've used engines, and they have seconds who have done a lot of the siphoning through cool games for them to go over. But if you're at like 2,000 or above, you're still okay. If you're at about 1,400 and you want to go up, that's a good opening too, because there's not a lot of memorization that you have to go through in the London system. So you can focus more on your middle game and end game play, where a lot of players make their mistakes is in the middle and end game. Yeah, and even if you make a mistake in the middle game, there is potentially a chance for you, if you're a well-rounded endgame player, to come back and even draw, sometimes win if it's a big mistake on your opponent's part. So a6. See this move right here, you're probably wondering, what does this move do? It stops the attack of b5. Also, it prepares more of a queenside expansion. So it gives Gadakovsky flexibility of which side he wants to attack on. He doesn't have to always be in a huge attack mode on the king side. If the king side ever kind of gets locked down, which in the Indian game it has the potential, because of how solid this is, that you're going to be playing more on the queen side, because this is less defended. The queen side is less defended. If you notice that the majority of the developed pieces are on the king side, the knight, the bishop, and soon castles. So you'll have a rook, bishop, and a knight. There's only one piece developed on the queen side, and we have a lot of pieces poking on the queen side as well. See, we have our bishops are doing that, and our queen potentially could come roaming in. So we have a pretty flexible pawn shell at this moment, our pawn structure, that we can kind of get our queen side attack. It's just flexible. This is a5, a6 is trying to get b5 in to see if he can't later on loosen up. This is a trying to hold the queen side, but to no avail. It's not going to work, because Gada knows how to get his pieces into their most effective stations in the London system. So d6, h3. This h3 is always a good prophylactic move, just in case they try h5. You just retreat your bishop back, because this bishop on h2, sometimes your opponents will forget about it and like when these pawns start absolving off the board, and then they think, oh, I'm going to grab an open file. Let's say these pawns go by the b pawn, c pawn, and d pawn, b pawn, c pawn, and d pawn all go come off the board, and he's like, your opponent goes, I'm going to go rook b8. They sometimes forget about this bishop being there, and you can pick up a rook for a bishop. So board vision's huge, so you have to keep board vision in mind. So castles. This also, the cool thing about h2, I don't want to not I want to tell you guys, is there's a lot of ideas. The knight can actually en route in there later on too, come around, and potentially even come in that way, do the knight dance, and also it gives the king a flight square. There's a whole bunch of ideas behind h3. We like Harry, though. We want to go h4 and be an attacker and go wham. You know, we want to knock our opponent out in one hit. But sometimes you can't do that. You got to play more positional. And I've learned that, because I'm an attacker player, and I like to basically go all guns blazing with my troops. But you have to learn when that's a proper time to do, because if you don't have the proper artillery set up, the proper tanks set up, the proper riflemen, and all those guys, and everything, your assault on the castle's not going to work. So you have to have everything ready and willing for an assault. And sometimes it seems like, oh, the London system's boring. No, some in like the middle to end game phases, some of those sacrifices are incredible that Gatakomsky pulls off, and some of the grandmasters. It's like, are you serious, man? They're beautiful sacrifices, but at the beginning it kind of looks very dry and dull. But don't ever underestimate the London system when it comes to an attacking potential. If your opponent slips up 1 second, you got him. And this is trying to get the bishop. If you notice, Gata has his opponents clamped down. This is a humongous bind that he has. The opponent really can't do anything. He can't even push b5 if it wants. Nothing. This can't be played because if he did, he would take, knight takes, and then bishop takes, and that would be a vulnerable point. And it's like, whoa, this is a mega boa constricting bind. Beast. Now he's bringing more forces into the queen side, so that he's saying, you could try playing go ahead and play d5. Go ahead. Now look how horrible your bishop is, and I'll just say thank you very much. Retreat my bishop out. Now I can start my assault on the king side, potentially, because this bishop's out of play and not doing very well. Black's bishop, I mean. H6 gives the king kind of a little spider hole to run to if there is an emergency or a bunker. But you got to be careful. If your opponents know how to puncture the bunker, you're in trouble. And a lot of grandmasters know how to do that. So bishop f1. We're doing really good here so far. Our idea is to eventually maybe cover here after we want to move our knight. So if you wanted to move this knight, you can't right now move this knight because, of course, you see, because wham, you lose and basically the game falls apart. So the move, since this bishop isn't really doing anything at the moment, we want to somehow get our knight involved. And how can we do that? Potentially knight h2 into g4. Or maybe we'll just move our rook to d1, and then we can get our knight e1 into d3 and prepare potentially for an assault on the center and maybe bring more forces to the queen side. Flexibility, it's got to stay flexible. This is a flexible move, saying I don't have to worry about g2 anymore. And then if bishop does take, we're going to take back with our knight, of course. So it's like everything's covered. It's really, really, really nice. So rook, the bishop comes back. And now for sure we know that Gata is either going to play g4, he's going to play rook d1, knight e, and sometimes you can even get an f4 move in after. I'll just show you what I'm talking about. If you play here, this is just these are just moves that I'm just making here and here. You may even be able to get f4 and then g4 in. I was just going to show you how kind of it works. And then what you do is you reimplant your knight there, and you get your pieces flowing in. And this bishop does a really good job of covering g2, so you don't have to worry about a bishop coming here and then the queen coming right in there and mate. Can't because of this bishop. e5, rook e, d1. Now you're getting the idea that potentially, first of all, Gata takes here because there's no more need for a queen side. now have our eyes set on the king side, because if you notice the queen's offside. Gotta notice that the ultimate gun is all the way over on the queen side. And how many pieces on the king side? Only two, actually three. And we're just ready for the KO now. Okay, so rook e7, knight c4. We're now taking scope 3 times on this pawn, and it's only defended once. So yeah, he's trying to get an attack going, but to none avail. We're like, you're actually helping Gata, because now he has a target to attack, and the queen is slowly inching closer and closer. So, and now the queen's coming over. Now we're attacking there. So the bishop has to retreat. Boy, it's almost trapped. Rook c d1, and then g6, and everything is starting. Have you noticed everything's shifting over to the king side? So Gata might change his attention back to the queen side, because he has enough flexibility in space that his opponent has the majority. Only 2 pieces are on the queen side. So sometimes you can decoy all your opponent's pieces to one side and then shift to a major attack on the opposite side. Capablanca was known for doing that. So is Bobby Fischer. They would be able to decoy you away, and Morphy could do it too. They would make you think we're going to attack over here, and when you shift everything over, you get a boo face when you realize, oh no, all of his forces are just screaming, taking me to the house. Actually, no, just defeating me on the queen side. I thought he was going to attack on the king side. It's like, before. There we go. So queen side is starting to come under great fire now. Now the queen's going like, what do I do? I can't be the lone warrior. What are you guys doing over here? I have to come over. And these guys are like, well, what do you expect? We're already stuck. What? The bishops are totally stuck. There's nothing that this is a horrible bishop. That's a horrible bishop because of this pawn. This knight can't really do anything. It's just going to clog the queen up if it tries to move. And if it comes here, that's a horrible square. So these 3 pieces are out of play. So in theory, and this too, because this really can't do anything, it'd clog up the position. So Gatakovsky's opponent's really only playing with 3 out of his entire army. 4 of them are basically just standing by. In basketball, it'd be basically they're sitting on the bench. He's got his major army, but they're on the bench, and it's like, what? And they would love to be in the game, but they can't because they're all injured. I don't know. You gotta sometimes play with the board a little bit, have a fun time, make it real. So a3. This is a big time attack. Now he's having to do something to get some attack. Now this is under fire, that's under fire, that's under fire, that's under fire. Now the rook. Check. And this pawn's going to end up becoming a lady. We're going to try to knock this knight off the board. If we can exchange it for a rook, we get a queen. So I think that'd be a good upgrade. You have to be careful here too, because it looks like just grab it and then queen. Not so, because now they're threatening a back rank mate sitch. So you have to be careful, and potentially, yes, you can go up, but I don't think God wanted everything. So this still is potentially playable for his opponent, and he didn't want to give his opponent any counterplay. So an excellent idea they played was g4. So now if we take and take, and we can just we can queen and then bring our king up, and there's really nothing that he can do. We don't have to waste a move doing that. Now the bishop takes, so no more mating threat for you. We say, no sir, no mating threat for you. And then he has to, he loses. It's a, this pawn's going to be very powerful. And now if the king comes here, we can actually come back around here. Oh, nice. Oh, wow. I told you, never underestimate the Ludden system. Oh, wow. That's like, ouch. Hello. And it's a check. Whoa. Gotta love that. Now we have a pin. Check. D7. Takes. Check. Yeah. Okay. 1 sec, Fox. We'll finish this one out, and then we'll take a look at your game. This is a beauty. It's gonna basically, the queen and the pawn's gonna pulverize, because now if he tries to run here, we can just win, basically check, and that's mate. So he has to come down here, and if he does that, then we have check. He comes up, and now we pick up a rook, and then we got a queen, bishop, and yeah. So we'll take a look at this game. Do one more game, and then I have to log. We'll do this game here. Okay, F, D5. Oh, so you're doing the King's Indian. Are you white? Oh, anything to add? Okay. We'll take a look. Alright. Yeah. Getting a bind is not fun. Sometimes your opponents know how to, if they're positional players, they know how to squeeze, and it's not fun to get squeezed. You just have to hang in there and eventually trade a couple pieces off. It frees up your position. Sometimes you're able to free up your position by trading off some pieces. So that's always a good idea. And, so it's starting to clamp down. But I still like your pawn structure though. This bishop is very sad now, so you're gonna more likely. I don't know if I would have played that move. I probably would have played b3. And let's see, what could he have played here? Yeah, A here, and then I would have played bishop there. And trying to get my, well, I guess it's not a bad bishop, is it? So maybe I was, I thought it was a bad, this is your bad bishop, my bad. A little too hasty there, a little too hasty. Yeah, a little too hasty. This is your bad bishop here, so somehow we got to get this traded off for his good bishop. I've been studying bad bishop, good bishop, tall pawns, and more of rook, open files, all that right now. Now I'm in material sacrifice and material position, material greed, all that in the Jeremy Silman Reassess Your Chess book, 4th edition. And what he says to do sometimes is you may want to trade this bishop off for that bishop because it's a good bishop. So you want to, and this is your bad bishop because the center is locked. And unless you can get it outside the pawn chain, then trading it for even a knight in this position, trading it for a knight would be adequate compensation because the pawns are stuck on dark squares. So even if he does get a bishop, if it comes to a knight versus bishop endgame with some pawns on the board, if it's on one side, it favors the knight. So because the bishop's only good if there's pawns on both sides. I see now your idea. I forgot that the pawns were on light squares. I was looking at it from black's perspective, and that knight move is a good move because you're wanting to trade off. He does have a potential of trading this off though, and I think though now that if he tries to castle, he can't fianchetto, so you have to weigh the odds. Are doubled pawns okay in your position? Are you okay with this? It does open a half open file for your rooks, so not so bad. And you're wanting to get more. You're now wanting to play on the queen side because with this pawn structure here, it gives you flexibility of playing on both sides because they in a closed game, it's all where the pawns are pointing, and this both your pawns are pointing to both sides of the board, so it's all in what you're wanting to do. You could, in theory, play d2 and then go f4 if you wanted to do that, or e1, f4. You can undermine that structure. Like instead, you could instead of playing here, you could have said, but then you're forcing him to play g5, which weakens his position. And now a4 is a potential, or a3 is a potential idea at this point. He really can't get much of a clamp down, and if you ever wanted to, you can replace your knight and then play h3, knight, h2, and then maybe even later on trading off with g4. So there's a lot of flexibility when you have pawns like this. It gives you both sides of play. I've noticed that from some Grandmaster games I've went over. This is a very flexible pawn. Its only problem is though is it has a very weak base pawn on d3, so you have to make sure that it's adequately protected. So it's a backward pawn, and it's very vital. This is kind of like an HQ or a support post. Like Alexander used to set him up when he would move. He would set up outposts, and just in case he needed to retreat back to get reinforcements, that he would have an outpost or a base. This is the base pawn, so it's kind of similar to that. There you go. So nice. This, I have no idea why he played that. That had no point. That was like a waste of a move. That was pointless, actually. There you go. Now you're starting to play queenside. Loving it. You chose which side you wanted to, and now you're going to pound on that side with all your might. You're sending in the artillery units. Loving it. Except, I don't know if that... Maybe we should have prepared that. It's a good good effort on that, but you need to sometimes prepare for an assault. It's okay though, because you did get some sacrificial counterplay. So, like if he takes here, you get the piece back. So it's a nice stack. I do like that. I noticed that when you played it. So I gotta say that was a pretty good tactic there, Fox. Nice. So you traded a wing pawn for a center pawn. That's actually a really good trade in that line. And now he's wrecked on the queen side, so now you have a point of entry to challenge. And you do have bishop to a4 at this point. I don't know, I might play bishop a4 at this point. This stops castling. Just, oops, you can't, my bad. The bishop's attacking your knight. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, you're kind of forced in that line. Now he shuts down the this. So your opponent is seeing a lot of the counters, so you gotta commend him for that. I still, though, would potentially take a little puck shot at that, because that's still a weakness, Fox. Hey, that's, you know what? You're far ahead of a lot of players, Fox, that they have Jeremy Silman. Yeah, exactly. That's right. And a lot of beginning players are afraid to sacrifice material. Jeremy Silman talks about the material section in Reassess Your Chess. The reason is they don't really get like a mating idea. If it's a lot players are okay if they sack material to go for like a mating net, but to go for positional play is really hard for players, and I'm even working on that. So this I like a3 here. That's just what I would play because there's no real problem. Yeah. Yep. It's just you have to, after you do enough Jeremy Silman's teachings, you get a lot. Yeah. Yeah. This right here is a because there's no nobody to protect it, and they're gonna have to, you either have to protect it with a queen. You can't protect it with a bishop, so because you'll lose that. You're fully developed in your opponent's castle. Yeah, you're doing. Yeah, you. I say you had a not really good tactic there. I had to recheck it, and it fulfills principles, are they a balance? You trade one pawn on the wing for a center, and in this type of situation, since you both have two bishops, but your bishop, light square bishop, now has the. Oh, wait a second. Hey, Fox, we missed something. Look it. We missed something. I just noticed that. E5 wins a piece. I just realized that. It's a double attack. Ah. That's you have to have full board vision. I kind of missed that. I saw a target, but this is actually better. So e5 is like it's over at this point. Well, the worst that could happen is if he plays here. Yeah, fear is a big um, problem that we all have to get over in our play. And now you have your F4 idea that you can implement with pretty good play, actually. Because if he castles, you can actually again pick up a piece. You pick up another piece in that line, so he really can't castle. He'd have to weaken his structure with that. Then you take there, he'll bring his knight back. And now you can actually trade off, even though you're trading off your bishops, you get this. Now you get control two open files. and there's really no point. Well, I guess maybe he could take there. So maybe we need to just lock down just for a second. And his knight has no real good entry points. And now you have rook e with a threat of f5 at this point. So yeah, really interesting play. I'm liking it. Nice, nice, nice. So you're going after you're going for more play with pawns. That's not, you know what? A lot of grandmasters have played like that, and that's not bad. So you're outplaying your opponent, which is good. Now you're picking up material. I'd probably have played that though. I would have just waited for a second. Now you're threatening to pick up with a lot of plunder. Just remember, silent moves are sometimes the most deadly moves. And you see your knight covers here, your queen covers there, there, your rook covers. You're so close to almost trapping the queen. You're like a couple moves away. And you're also getting prepared for e6. You're also getting prepared for knight and potentially some infiltration, and you have mainly f7's a huge attack. This knight is very sad, so he could potentially try that, but in that case you just go f, and then when he comes here, then so you'd probably want to play there first. You would want to take there, and now you have that type of a setup, and or maybe even just playing that. I think that might be better. I'm trying to look to see which moves are best in that line. So he'd actually have to play here. Let me see. Let me see. Sorry, it's like maybe rook, and he's gonna have to come back there, and now we're threatening to bring the knight in, and if we can get a knight there, we have a mate with there. So yeah, wow. Yeah, that's crushing there. You have to always look for these infiltration silent moves. Nice. That's actually good. I like that. Yep. Nice, nice. I'm kind of thinking of a little sneaky move like that. It's like, yeah. It's like, what? Or it's like, could you actually do that? And if he takes, it's a mate and mate two. It's like, so it's like when you get to put a piece on a protected square, It's like hello, and then you're winning a pawn there. Yeah, that's so cool. And if he plays there, so he's got to maybe, you have him so locked down. So let's say he tries that. You have mate, so he can't move this. He may try moving that, and if he moves that, now you're threatening there. And now you can just play a nice little decoy move there. R. Yeah, you can just play that. And then he'll either, if you take, you win the queen. And now you're going to be threatening mate. So if he comes up, let's see, do we want to take with the rook or the queen? Let's just take with the queen. And then we're close to mate, so we got to, we'll just bring the king up. And we're one move now away from mate. There's nothing really he could do. Hello, there you go. So these are always fun. These are always fun little moves to throw in. Just to, it's like, this is ultimate Zugzwangp position right there for you. Nice, nice. You could also reload your position too with a potential something like this. And then if he plays there, then you have a bishop always infiltration too. So it's like, it's fun. If you were afraid of this now, you don't really have to be, because there's nothing really that they can do. So it's just fun to throw these type of moves in. It's, yeah. Let's see here. I kind of would throw that in just to be a nuisance. This is like totally, well, let's see, can he actually do anything? Not really, because he's stuck guarding these points here, because that's the next move. So what could he actually play? Nothing. If he plays here, then you actually have a potential mate, I believe. Let me see here. Or can you actually, hold on, let me see. Yeah, that threatens a mating idea. I don't really think there's a way he can save the position. He could try that, but still, I think we win a piece at that point. Yeah, you can just win a piece here. Yeah, just tactics galore. Nice job, Fox. Nice work. Okay, do you guys have any questions before I log off? Good game. Good game. Just got to break that one thing, the fear factor. If a chess player can break that, then your road to Grandmaster is right on track. Yeah. Do you have any questions, Fox, on this game anywhere? Or did we go over them? So you're good? Okay. What was that? Alrighty, perfect. Well, I wanted to thank y'all for logging on. We're doing good. We're having a good time. We're learning. We're improving, and most of all, we're able to serve the Lord with our talents that we have. And to keep pushing forward, we have to be fishers, and we gotta be fishers of men, like what he said. and we have to, like what Tom Thumb Thumb says, life is about treasuring your victories and learning from your losses. Treasuring your victories and learning from your losses. Remember that mistakes do not define you. It is how you handle the mistakes that define you. That's a very important thing to a chess player. Mistakes don't define you. It's how you handle the mistakes that define you. There are no limits. There are plateaus, Bruce Lee says, and we must not stay there. We must go beyond them at all costs. Even if we have to sacrifice some material to win, we have to get, and our pieces are willing to give their lives as long as we win. They're willing to do whatever it takes, and that's the coolest thing. The Lord has given us the ability to use our mind, our thoughts, our breath, and everything. We should always be focused on glorifying and honoring Him. Bruce Lee says that knowing is not enough, we must apply. So we need to, in knowing all this information, unless we apply it, knowing is just having it here. But unless you put it either on a piece of paper or a podcast, or you tell somebody else and share the love of chess, then it's for none avail, my friends. Willing is not enough. You have to, though, start out. There's a lot of players that don't even have the will to play chess, so we have to show them that it's possible. And when you do that, then you can show them a game and do something. You could do something. So you could take your will and show them that a game that you had, like how Fox showed us a really great game, and we appreciate that. Thanks for doing that. And we just got to keep pushing forward, and always keeping our blades sharp, which is our tactical understanding, and the mind that the Lord's given us, our third eye, as they say, because you have to. Your mind is a marvelous thing. It can sense things that you don't even have any things like Spider-Man has the Spidey sense. How does he get that? People say superpower. No, it just activated something in his brain that that we don't really have, and it's kind of that, how when you're in a game and you feel like there's something, your opponent did something wrong, you kind of get that spidey sense. I call it the chess sense. And where does that reside in our mind? I don't know. It's one of those marvelous things that the Lord's made for us. But we have to be ready in season, so when we're playing, and we have to be ready out of season when we're studying. And I know I stress this, and you're like, we don't want to hear it again. Try your hardest to avoid the 30-second, 1 minute, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes is bare minimum, I would probably say, of a game to play, because you at least get some time to strategize. 15 or above is where I would say to play, because that gives you time to think, do tactics, everything like that. But mainly, if it was me, my friends, I would actually study more than play, because the only way you can get better and see these puzzles that we went over, the deep lines, is by actually studying. So take some of that time that you would be doing games, put maybe 10 to 20 minutes into deep study, or maybe just 5. Just start out with 5. If you say, I can't focus that long, start out with 5. Build up from there. And then you can say, if I do it for 5, I could do it for 7. I could do it for 10. And then eventually you're up to 30 minutes, and you're like, 30 minutes? I could do it for an hour, But you have to build up. You have to set those small goals that you can get to, and then slowly, don't settle for a small goal. Keep pushing yourself up the plateau to greatness. What do we always say, though? We hang up our coat, we hang up our hat, we sit down and study when most won't. We do, and that makes all the difference. So, just some advice from your friendly chess cruncher to help you improve. Okay. As Leslie So says through the Lord Jesus, as I say, God bless, and I'll see you guys next time on Chess Cruncher TV. Have a blessed morning, afternoon, and evening, and Lord willing, I'll be back on tomorrow. and we'll keep pushing onward and upward to even greater heights to honor the Lord and to help push chess up, 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 and away it goes. So great job, Go Team Chess Cruncher, hoorah! And if you guys have games, bring them and we'll go over them. Okay, be blessed. I'll see you tomorrow.